It is an exciting weekend in the world of golf. We are getting ready for the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, and as you can see here from the odds to win, the return of some of the top golfers in the world. Scottie Scheffler making his return to the course, as is Rory McIlroy. He's actually been playing, but over in the Middle East. It is a little bit different. It is a signature event, which means it's a smaller field, only 80 golfers now cut, and we're hoping for better weather this year because last year they did have to end this tournament after 3 rounds. Thankfully, the weather is looking nice over there at Pebble Beach. Let's welcome in 2 of our golf experts to get us ready for this one. We're going to break down some of the top storylines. Patrick McDonald, Rick Gehman here. Guys, break down the course for us. Rick, I'm going to start with you because you get 2 courses here, and they're very different in how they play.
Yeah, 2 for the price of 1 this week, Amanda. And this used to be a 3-course rotation. Remember, there's going to be amateurs out there, and you've got to get everybody through. But now that this is a signature event, the field is cut down to just 80 golfers, so they don't require that 3rd course anymore. So they're going to play between Spyglass Hill and Pebble Beach. Pebble Beach, of course, being the host course. That's probably one of the most recognizable courses on the PGA Tour, and it's very unique. It plays under 7,000 yards on the scorecard. It's very short by professional golf standards. The green complexes are very small, about 3,500 square feet on average, and it's just not a golf course that requires these guys to hit a lot of drivers. So they'll be asked to hit greens, get up and down, scramble, and see how many putts they can make. A really different test than what we see from a lot of other events on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, Rick hit the nail on the head there, where it's really a second shot golf course, both of these. You see there, both around 7,000 yards. You're not going to need to hit drivers. A lot of wedge opportunities for these players. I look at Pebble Beach. Really, those first 7 holes are going to be had by a lot of birdies, a couple par 5s mixed in there as well. And it's really a great opportunity for these players to hone in on their iron play, hone in on that wedge play, because like Rick mentioned, these are the smallest greens on the PGA Tour. Those over at Spyglass Hills are still top 5 in terms of size when it comes to how small they are also. So put the ball on the fairway, less than driver, just bunt it out there, let the wedge play do the work, and go from there.
As mentioned, we get the return of some of the top golfers, including the top golfer in the world, Scottie Scheffler, had a laceration on his hand, happened around Christmas time. So he's taking plenty of time for that to recover. Patrick, what do you think about what we can expect from Scottie Scheffler? Are we just going to see the top play from him yet again?
I think so. I don't think Scottie Scheffler would be in this field if he didn't think he could win this golf tournament. And although his hand is maybe a question mark after undergoing surgery, who knows how extensive that surgery was to remove the fragmented glass post-ravioli accident. But I'm actually looking at his putter, which doesn't make much sense. But remember, it was this time last year that on the bumpy Poa annua greens, we saw maybe the most frustrated Scottie Scheffler that we have ever seen. And at Pebble Beach, that ranged from 2 to 5 feet. There are a lot of missed putts given just how bumpy and firm and crusty these greens can get. So I expect, honestly, Scottie Scheffler to be the world #1 guy from tee to green. I expect his iron play and his wedge play to be fantastic, but I'm really looking more towards that claw grip that he introduced this past fall and how he looks from that 2 to 5 feet, 7 feet range this week.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about Scottie Scheffler. Patrick is right. I think that he took the proper time that he needed to get back into action. Remember, when this incident first happened right around Christmas, the target date to get him back was the American Express. It was just 3 weeks after the incident. That was probably a bit optimistic. Well, he didn't play the American Express. He didn't play the Farmers Insurance Open, which is signing to me that he's making sure that he's 100% and ready to go for this week. We've already seen him on Tuesday morning on the practice range. He is going to play 18 holes around Pebble Beach and kind of get everything in order. I imagine that he is going to be the #1 player in the world, and we are not going to see much change from what we saw at the end of last year.
What about Rory McIlroy? Because he actually has been playing. He's been over in the Middle East. He's done pretty well over there. He won a tournament. He's been, what, I think T4 and another one. Rick, Rory, first time we're going to see him 2025 in the United States.
Yeah, that's right. So he did the kind of the Middle East swing, something he does quite often after the Tour Championship on the PGA Tour. He goes over to the DP World Tour and he plays a handful of events over there, and he played great. The issue that I have for Rory at Pebble Beach is that it takes his greatest strength, which is the driver. He's probably the best driver of the golf ball on planet Earth, and it kind of takes it out of his hands a little bit. And his results at Pebble Beach have been mixed. He played well here in 2019 when the U.S. Open was played here, but in other events at Pebble Beach, it really hasn't been that great. I expect a good week from Rory, but he's likely going to have to overcome a situation where the golf course doesn't fit him nearly as well as other golf courses do.
Final golfer we're going to talk about here, Patrick, I'm going to go to you with Jordan Spieth. He has wrist surgery. I remind him of the movie that's out right now. Jordan Spieth is just always a complete unknown, right? We're never really sure what we're going to get with him. Are we hearing anything about how he's looking, or how does this courses, I should say, set up for him?
Well, it's a great spot for him to return since he's a tournament winner here. Won this back in 2017. He's come close a couple times since. Lost a few years ago to Tom Hoge down the stretch. But this is a great spot for him to return because Jordan Spieth, similar to what Rick just said about Rory McIlroy and his driver, Spieth was great off the tee in 2024. But those areas that we have come to know from Jordan Spieth, the great wedge shots, the great long iron play, the terrific around the green presence, the crafty short game shots, that really fell off in 2024 because of that wrist injury, right? Coming back from surgery this past summer. So I think Pebble Beach is a great spot for him, not only because he has the familiarity and the comfort, and he's been just about everywhere there on hole number 8, including the cliff, but also because it's going to test those weak points in his game. Is Jordan Spieth's approach play going to improve in 2025? Is his short game going to return to the vintage Jordan Spieth-like fashion in 2025? And I think this week will give us a couple of answers to those questions.
As I said, a complete unknown always for Jordan Spieth, but we love watching him. Let's do pick to win. Who are you going with, Rick?
Well, it's always good to pick a guy who's never won on the PGA Tour, but they've all never won until they win, which is why I'm going with Tommy Fleetwood. And similar to Rory McIlroy, Tommy has spent a lot of time on the DP World Tour since the fall began, and he's been playing phenomenal golf. He plays a lot of the same events that Rory does over there, and he's such a well-rounded golfer that no matter how this ends up shaking out over these two golf courses, he can use his precision off the tee, the way that he leans into his second shots, and if he can get a little bit of a hot putter, I really like Tommy Fleetwood's chances. So he's lingering in there in that second tier around 33-1, and I think it's about time that he crosses the finish line.
I'm taking a trip to the same neighborhood as Rick, but I'm going with the captain, Keegan Bradley, at 50-1. I'll admit part of this is selfish. I want this U.S. Ryder Cup team to get as messy as possible, and Keegan Bradley winning a signature event would certainly do that. But he is playing like a top 5, top 10 American right now. 3 straight top 15 finishes to start his year. Contended there at the Sony Open over the weekend. Would have had a chance at Torrey Pines if it wasn't for a faulty putter. So similar to Rick's pick with Tommy Fleetwood, Keegan Bradley is just very well-rounded. He's great off the tee, a great wedge player. It's going to come down to that putter, but he returned to Pebble Beach last year, finished T11, and I think he could put a good charge over the weekend this year.
Golfers may not want the chaos, but we like it. It gives us more to talk about. Patrick and Rick, we appreciate it. So you guys, you can hear on the First Cut podcast, latest episode, which we're going to get into here shortly, going over DFS. Guys like Scotty, Rory, you know they're so expensive. Can you find a little value elsewhere? Make sure to download and follow.
Got the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am this week. A look at Pebble Beach, and they're also going to be playing Spyglass Hill over there in the second signature event of the season. Scotty Scheffler's first tour event, Rory McIlroy's first tour event. This feels like the unofficial beginning.
Finally.
Yeah, the unofficial beginning.
Not that the other tournaments haven't been fun, but for the majority of the public, look, we're excited to see the top golfers in the world back.
Well, let's get some picks for it. Sportsline's Mike McClure joins us here on CBS Sports HQ. And Mike, your pick to win is actually a pick that we also got from our Rick Gehman and Tommy Fleetwood. Why do you think Fleetwood is going to break through for his first tour victory this week?
You know, Chris, it's really a lot about the price point as well. I think it's a disrespectful number at 33-1 when you talk about a limited field with no cut event. I made the number plus 2,500 here, but it's really about the course fit. Second in greens and regulations on tour in this field, 8th in approach, 2 metrics that we're really going to care about. The one knock that I've got on Tommy Fleetwood right now sometimes is a little bit of the distance, but distance completely irrelevant at this event here. I think that he should be priced a lot closer to Hideki Matsuyama and Patrick Cantlay. I think Tommy Fleetwood breaks through as someone that really is going under the radar because of some of the international events that he's been playing.
If our guys keep picking him, that number is going to get shorter, so get it while you can at 33-1. Let's move to DFS, Mike. Good buys include a golfer who's one of the most expensive, probably one of the most 3 or 4 expensive players in this field, and Justin Thomas. Why is that?
You know, I think this is going to be a great year for Justin Thomas. We've always known that he's had the talent, been lacking in certain areas and struggling, but this is a setup that, again, I think really suits his game very well. He's really a second shot golfer, and that's exactly what this course is going to set up, but he is aggressive on that first shot off the tee. So everything sets up well for me. He's putted well so far this year. I think that he's someone you need to be targeting. And then Denny McCarthy, truly the horse for this course here, Chris. He is someone who really is never going to be in contention when you talk about some of the longer courses on tour. This course is super short. He's one of the best putters on the planet. And you look at this field with no cut. That is something that's very appealing here. You're guaranteed 4 rounds. When that putter gets hot, he's going to be one of the most dangerous players on the course. You mean Justin Thomas and Denny McCarthy.
A lot of these guys we haven't seen play on tour yet this season, and Rory McIlroy is one of those guys. He played in TGL last night. He's one of your bad buys here. I'd also want to know, how are you handicapping these guys who may have played TGL, the simulator in South Florida earlier on in the week?
Yeah, I think with TGL, first of all, great looking product there, but I think it is a distraction when you're talking about the week of a signature event. You've got Rory coming in, arriving to Pebble Beach a little later than you normally would, hasn't played particularly well at Pebble Beach. And then when you look at Rory McIlroy, we all know what he does well. The one area where he consistently gains strokes is going to be off the tee with the driver. However, the driver is simply out of your hands most of the time at this golf course. He's expensive. He's got the name value. He's going to be over-owned here. I'm fading Rory McIlroy. And then same thing with Will Zalatoris. I do think Will Zalatoris is back in a sense, but the price point isn't really a massive discount here. The withdrawal last week, obviously a concern here. I think that Will Zalatoris is someone that we'll be looking at later this season, but I don't like him in such a star-studded event like this one.
Okay, if we were to ask you for your best bet of the entire tournament, what would it be?
It's going to go back to Tommy Fleetwood, but we're going to simply look at a top 20 market. Again, remember, this is a limited field, no-cut event. You're getting odds here around minus 110, minus 120. I think that's a great number on Tommy Fleetwood, who, again, I think can contend to win, but he's just so consistent in every metric that matters here. I would be absolutely stunned if he wasn't in the mix on Sunday. And again, the 4 rounds, he's someone that you don't have to worry about making the cut. He can make that charge in one day. Give me Tommy Fleetwood here, top 20 finish.
All right, a couple of Tommy Fleetwood bets, top 20 at minus 110, minus 120, and Tommy Fleetwood to win that thing at 33-1. Mike can be heard on Sportsline, where we give you your best bets each and every weekday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, sportsline.com, where all of our experts live 24/7.
Kyle Long was here, left his hat in the studio, so I'm holding it hostage.
He has a hat that has his own
town.
His own town name on it.
Yeah.
Boca Raton. Does it have his address?
$20. Tell no one, Kyle.